All right, this week on the Film Friends podcast, we're reviewing, by my request, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the 1960 and whatever film made by
The
Sergio
really old
Leone,
movie.
the movie that is at least 20 years old, at least.
It's legal. All right, I can promise you it's legal.
It's
I checked its ID.
as old as your parents, probably. It rules, and it is probably the most famous
It fucks
Western
for sure.
of all time, which is a little bit ironic because it's pretty much an anti-Western. It was like the first anti-Western of its kind, and it's
It's
kind
a
of weird that it
satire
kind
of
of became the
westerns.
most
Made by an Italian
famous
guy.
Western of all time.
Hey, like a satire is still
1967
that
it
type
was.
of movie.
I wouldn't even call it a satire. It's just kind of
Deconstruction
like a genre.
is a
'Cause it's
more-
not. It's
Well,
not really
I
making
think
fun
I
of
think that's the
genre.
word they use for that though. Still, is like it's just
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe my
I don't think satire necessarily means it's a joke or more like commentating on it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It can just be taken
Perhaps,
as
yeah,
far as
because
a joke, yeah.
the like even the title, like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Angel Eyes is straight up evil in this movie, but like, Clint
Dude, he's a
Eastwood
dick.
and the ugly, like Tuco, like
The
everybody
ugly.
here is not really a great.
They're not
person.
good people
No one
They're not really
in the
good
true
people.
West was, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
in the Wild Wild West.
it's all relative,
Yeah, but when
really.
you think of like a Hollywood,
Oh yeah,
Hollywood Western, it's all
the hero
pristine,
character,
like,
yeah.
the hero's clean shaven and he's wearing
Oh.
like white, and he goes in and shoots the
Saves the
outlaw and
day.
saves the town. And this one is literally like, how many people can we possibly exploit to get this?
Everyone-
to dig up this grave.
Everyone in
Civil
this
War
movie
veteran to get money.
is so dirty. Like I don't know why. Like well, I do know why, but like there's just so like it literally looks like they're just fucking haven't bathed in months. And
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's intentional, obviously, but especially like when they're like in the desert and their lips are all chapped up. Like it's such a weird continuity to
Oh,
keep
yeah.
up with, but it's so fun. It's like it's cool because it's accurate, but it's funny because like I don't want to see their chapped ass lips on screen all day, especially with all the close-ups
dude.
on their face.
They
But
really
the makeup
didn't.
or whatever looks really good. Like, they
It-
did
oh,
a really
Oh
especially
no,
good
when-
they actually didn't drink water for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, they just
That's
dehydrated
real.
them
Yeah.
in the desert. But when Blondie almost died from he made him walk the desert, that makeup looked amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Did look
I
really
do like that
realistic.
because like Clint Eastwood is like supposed to be the hero, but he gets like whooped and like
Oh, he
outsmarted
gets
through the
fucked up all the
Repeatedly.
time. Dude,
Yeah.
What's his name?
Tuco.
Tuco.
Tuco is of like the best character in the movie. Like he's so clever. Like he does. Like, he's not really smart, but he does always like find a way out of shit and like like he gets one over on most people except for
The end.
kind of Angel Eyes and Blondie. But most of the reason
Yeah.
Blondie, like, because Blondie knows that he's gonna betray him at every turn. Like he just assumes every time that he's gonna try to fuck him over.
He knows him too well.
Yeah,
so, like,
Tuco-
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like brothers.
Yeah,
They know they're gonna fuck each other over. That's their bond. You know, kind of throughout the
they're
movie.
very very much frenemies.
Yeah,
Yeah, like they definitely do. Like they work together, but they fucking hate each other.
yeah.
But I do like Tuco because it seems like he plays off of the fact that everyone underestimates him and thinks
Yeah.
that he's dumb. And the only two people who he doesn't pull one over on are the people who are like wise to his act, like Chris was saying.
Yeah, that are aware that he's just
I forgot
a rat
just
and he's always
how
gonna try to
much
fuck you over.
Tuco was in this movie. Like, there's so much Tuco compared to the other two main
He steals the
characters.
show, dude.
There's so
Yeah.
much ugly.
There's so much.
It
Like,
opens with him.
hey, the Wild West was ugly. You know, I feel like that was the point of it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
Wild.
like Sam said, the clean shaven, the sheriff that rolls into town and saves everybody.
Yeah, and is like the hero, and then everything's good.
The damsel
There was actually like a lot of people just murdering each other and fucked up shit going on in the West. I like that Angel Eyes. I forget, like, does he have an actual name or is it just his nickname?
I don't think they say
I
it,
think
do
they
they?
only call
Yeah, I
him
don't think.
Angel Eyes.
Yeah, I think they only call him Angel Eyes, other than the fake soldier name he goes by. But I like the fact that he is like part of the military and like actively like just using it to gain power. Like he just I don't even remember how he joined the military. I think he just volunteered. I was like, can I be a
think
part
he's
of this?
impersonating someone.
Yeah, didn't he just like
Oh,
fake
that's
it?
what it is.
He just
Yeah.
like slid in.
Because I remember it's not his name. He's using someone else. The same thing Tuco did, that tried to do.
Yeah.
I do
But
think
he just chose the wrong
That's Bill
name.
Carson.
I do think it was really cool how they did a movie during the Civil War, but that was just kind of like a background character. Like the Civil War wasn't actually that important to the story, but it was just kind of making the world way more interesting.
It kind of just
Yeah.
set up the world, yeah. I mean, well, that's probably what it was more like in the, because I don't remember where this is at, but in the West, like, because I'm sure most stuff wasn't still established yet over there during the Civil War, so I'm sure a lot of it was
Yeah.
still crazy, like, so they probably were detached from the war, just like they are in the movie.
Yeah.
They didn't
Yeah,
really
they're
gain or lose anything.
probably- I don't know where they would be because I know they skipped a bunch of states. Like California was part of it, but I don't think they're like.
I mean, California's
reason,
pretty
there was, like,
fucking
the
big,
gap.
to be fair.
They were mostly territories out there, right? It wasn't even they weren't even states yet.
Yeah, they-
I
California.
think Mississippi was a state, and then they skipped a bunch and added California. So like,
It just took
it's
Cali.
like it's really weird.
Yeah, because California.
New Mexico. New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Yeah, because California was established in like 1845,
1840.
something like that. I think.
I don't know when this movie took place, to be honest, just thinking about it.
Well, Civil War was
Well,
1861.
1860s,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I didn't remember that.
But,
I didn't remember when the Civil War happened, to be honest.
Dude, on the subject of Angel Eyes though, his intro, dude, is
Dude.
fucking insane. That's like
Perfect.
I won't say that it's the best scene in the movie because there is one that's better, but it is a perfect scene, dude. I love that fucking shit. It's so tough, dude.
It also sets
This
up like
goes in
how
and destroys
fucking
that family.
yeah, how much like how evil he is. Like he really is the bad guy. Like because well, that's the thing. You see the other guys being assholes, and you're like, well, they're not really good guys. But then you see Angel Eyes, and you're like, wow, this is the real asshole.
Which is
The
I like-
psychopath of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, he pays him and he still kills the guy. And then you know what I like about that scene is that he points out the picture of his family, but that's why he knows he has another son that the one that tries to sneak up on him. That's why he knew there was another one there.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I noticed it this time that's how he knew there was another person in the house.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. He right after like you I was looking at it, I was like, oh wait, I thought that was his other kid the first time I watched it, or when we watched it. So I didn't realize at that time, but then I'm looking at it and he's bigger than the other one, like probably close to an adult. With the shotgun, I think he came down with.
Because he kills the guy who pays him to go kill that family, or at least the father.
Yeah.
His-
That's also
the
a fucked
father
up
makes-
scene.
The father makes a deal with him, like he gives him something to kill the guy who paid him, right?
He gives him like
And that's why he
$1,000.
kills him.
Yeah, he
That's
gives him
what it is,
$1,000, but he never says what to do. But he's like, I think he wanted me to kill you, so he's like, I'm gonna kill you. And that's actually a
Yeah.
fucked up scene because the dude doesn't even think he's being serious at first. Like he's like, haha, yo. He starts putting the pillow on his face.
He lets
like
him
five
figure it out.
times.
He literally
Like,
goes,
point blank.
Angel Eye! Angel Eye! I actually, you know what's
Doesn't he
funny
shoot him
too?
through the pillow?
She puts the pillow on him and then shoots him. But I think in real life, wouldn't that like actually work way better as a suppressor when you do that? Doesn't that like actually work? It makes
I
it
don't know.
way quieter, yeah.
Well, we'll have to test it out.
Well,
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure it doesn't stop it
Well,
completely, but I'm pretty sure it does
it
make
might
it way
work with-
quieter.
It might work with black
quiets
powder
it.
because none of that's breaking the sound barrier. But with
Oh,
regular, no, dude.
well, it's not going to work
You're
when
just
you
gonna
only
put a
have
hole in your
one
floor.
sound effect for guns.
Yeah, they don't have.
Pressing anything.
They really shot that guy, Cole. What do you mean?
Yeah, he really just killed him. Like that was a
Right.
dead body under there.
Crazy thing about Angel Eyes too is that like as he's clearly the most evil, cold-blooded dude, he probably catches the least bodies in the movie. He probably kills the least amount of people.
But he does fit. To be fair, he does kill a family. Like he does murder.
Exactly.
Yeah, Yeah, he
His
kills
kills
them.
are
He's killing
brutal.
the
Who he
16-year-old.
does kill.
he kills a 16-year-old and his handicapped dad because his leg was all fucked up. He couldn't even walk.
And he took their dinner too. That was the worst
Yeah,
part.
and he ate their
Yeah,
dinner.
that's the worst part.
And then he also beat the shit out of that prostitute, dude. Like fucked. Dude, that whole
I
scene was.
forgot about
The
that.
whole scene was fucked up because first
Oh.
it starts with her just getting thrown out of a carriage on their way by, and it's like, well, that was fucked up. And then she
That
walks in the house. He's like, "Where is Bill Carson? Where is Bill Carson?" Like, imagine
He was
that.
taking it to her.
What a fucked up day she had, dude. That was
The-
rough. I really
the-
felt bad for her.
Dude, yeah.
Did the movie ever establish what Bill Carson did to be like this super wanted criminal? Or did I miss
Well,
that?
he wasn't like a wanted
Bill Carson
criminal.
Bill Carson just knew where the money was.
Someone gave him that,
That was
money,
it?
and instead of like,
but I thought Angel
I
Eyes
think
had to
that was literally it.
kill Bill Carson.
He was
yeah,
just
well,
trying to
because he
find
took
it.
the money. Because he took the money.
Oh, okay.
I think he wanted
So
him to
here's-
kill him.
Here's what I think happened. I'm pretty sure this is the time. I'm pretty sure this is right. the guy who gets shot through the pillow paid him to find out where Bill Carson was, and that led him to the family's house. That guy knew the location of Bill Carson. He kills him, and then comes back and kills the guy with the pillow. Like, I think he paid him to get the lead to Bill Carson. Like, originally, that was
Well,
what
he
the South did.
and he wanted him to kill the guy because he had the information. He didn't want him to talk, so that's why he killed the one dude, so other
Yeah.
people couldn't get
So
to it.
then, yeah, once Angel Eyes knows, like, oh, I can just find Bill Carson and take the money, then he just starts killing people. I think that's the.
I think
timeline
Bill
that-
Carson
I see it
was.
from.
I don't know
Makes
how
sense.
Bill Carson got the money. I think it had something to do with that guy. I don't know if it was specifically his money, but instead of taking it to where he was supposed to, he went and hid it, and that's how it ended up in that grave.
Why would you hide money in a grave? Like, out of all places you could possibly hide it.
No one's gonna
Where
find
would
it.
you hide
who
it
would
in the
dig it
old
up?
West in like the
You had it in
60s, bro?
1860.
Bury it in my backyard or something. Like, I feel like no one's finding that.
All right. We
That's a
need to
good
get
point.
shovels and dig out Chris's backyard.
Yeah, Chris, that's where he hid all his money.
We're gonna
All his
dig out.
crypto.
Like,
Well, we're
that's
gonna
it.
be
Put his
digging up.
savings
cryptocurrency.
account or something. Like, come on.
We are gonna
Yeah.
be digging him a grave. So
Yeah, put it in an index fund or something. Come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, he
Yeah.
had people. He had people.
Let that
hunting
money
him.
work for you.
And he somehow ended up in the military. I don't remember why he did that. That was one part I don't remember
I
why
think
he
that was
joined the
just his
military.
job. I think he was in the military before.
They said he volunteered. They said that at some point. They said he
Was there
volunteered to join that
oh.
company.
Who
I was gonna
volunteered?
say that there was
Ben
definitely
Carson-
a
Bill
draft
Carson.
for the North. I don't know if the South had a draft. I really don't know much about the Confederacy.
I feel like they were.
But I know
Everyone
the
just
North
had to
a
go.
draft.
I know a lot
sure
less
they
about the Civil War than I would like to admit.
Yeah, it seems like the South was firing on all cylinders at the very beginning. They probably had. They're like, dude, you have to fight. We don't
You
have
have to
anybody
fight.
else."
They
Like,
had to.
dude, guys, this is really like if we don't fight,
This
this
is
is
life
fucked up.
or-
We're gonna look like real assholes if we
don't
lose this.
win, it's gonna be bad for us.
we're gonna be so fucking embarrassed. Like
we are in too deep at this point. We
Yeah.
have to go fight.
we really stuck our flag in on the wrong side, so we gotta win here.
Somehow they lost and they still like carry their flags around 200 years later or whatever.
Cool
Crazy.
looking flag.
Called Pride.
Should've-
Cole.
And their
yeah, it's
leader
called
was
it's called
like,
Southern Pride. Okay.
And their leader was like, I don't want statues of this. Like I lost,
Cole's
and then
Cole's a
they
city
did it
slicker,
anyway.
dude.
Hey, you could be proud of being a
Yankee.
loser. That's
Damn
up to
Yankee.
you.
Be proud of being a loser. That is a fact. They did go 0 for 1 and then retire.
All the ADR issues, like with the voices not matching up. I think this was a way, and I don't know why, like the Italian spaghetti west. I think it was just Italian movies at the time did this. They would film everything silent
And then do the audio after.
do all the audio after. So they were just like, well, fuck it, we're doing the audio after. And since they filmed this all throughout Europe, they were like, just speak your native language.
speak
and
your
we'll dub
language.
over it. So like half the people are speaking Greek, half the people are speaking Spanish, and then like some people are speaking English.
Yeah,
like,
even,
fuck it,
Yeah,
we'll
that's
just
why
speak-
nothing looks
even
like
Clint-
it matches up.
yeah, even Clint Eastwood is like not synced in, even though like he's just saying the words in English. Like you'd expect at least him to be.
Well, that
Right,
that,
but
that
it's-
method
You had to dub over it.
that method
Yeah,
was
yeah.
far more common back then. Just for the sake of
Really?
like
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they still weren't too good at it, though.
Well,
That's-
it's
I think
I
that
feel like
was
the
point.
audio
Like,
sounded good though. It sounded
ADR
like they were
today
actually talking.
isn't perfect. Like you notice it when it's ADR today. So, but it was far
Yeah,
more
I just don't know
common.
why they did it.
It's just for like practicality, like
probably
'cause
easier to do it
you
that way.
create the soundscape after the fact too. So
Also, I was thinking too, like it's not like they had, small portable mics or something. Like it was
Yeah.
probably harder to record
Yeah.
audio like outdoors in the 1960s
Yeah.
than just doing it in a studio.
But I think they were doing it in the States. I don't know. But
Either
that's why it is kind of weird.
Either way, then the
It's-
voice acting was like phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
it feels like they were actually like
yeah.
in the scene
It
whenever
didn't
they
My
were.
favorite part though is when they eat like the stew or whatever, and it's like, like it's so clearly dubbed there.
They're also just like silently staring at each other, eating for like 5 minutes.
Dude. This movie is so long, and it did not have to be, because there's so many shots like that where they just extend it for so long. And I know they're doing it for like effect, but they could cut
Well-
so
Well,
much out of this.
you're watching the
movie.
extended
So-
cut.
And also a bit of a tidbit on that too is they it's Ennio Morricone, right? Is that right? It's close enough. The guy
I
who did
don't
the
know.
score. The guy who did the music did
Dude, the music is
before
so
the
good.
movie was made. Yeah, he did it before the movie was made, and they liked it so much that that's what they played on set. So the actors would draw out the scenes, and they had to paste the scenes around the music. Or at least they decided to because they liked the movie so much.
Ennio
So, like,
Morricone. Yep.
Yeah, because the music was so good, they were like, we're just gonna get as much of this in as we can.
Yeah, well, thank God the music was so good because if it wasn't,
Yeah.
those scenes would have been a lot harder to watch. Like it would have backfired pretty hard.
There are several other movies like that where they create like a significant aspect of it. I think whether it be like visuals or like sets or like music beforehand, before there's even like a script. I want to say something similar to that happened with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I think like there was some like significant part of it made before the script was even written.
That like main jingle.
Yeah, I don't remember.
What is it called? A
specifically.
World of Pure Imagination or something?
I think so.
That
Yeah.
song.
Banger.
Oh.
Or Pure Imagination, I think is what it's called. That'd be cool if that was the first thing made for the movie.
Dude, I will say, I think this has the best soundtrack of any movie I've ever seen.
Dude,
Really,
you hear this
it-
music
it's
and
very
so
iconic.
much
Any
stuff.
music.
Like this music is so good in this movie. Like, dude, especially like that shot, like when they finally get to the what's it called, the Sad Cemetery or something, Sad Hill, and he like looks over the rock, and then you just see all the graves as like the music starts going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
I was gonna mention that
that
too.
is
Yeah, that's
one of the
super
best.
iconic.
And then he's just like running, like all excited, like trying to find it.
The
Because he runs like
Yeah.
this.
The Ecstasy of Gold is the name of that track.
I could believe that.
And I'm pretty
That
sure-
was sweet.
Modelo time.
It's so yeah, I was
Isn't
gonna
this
say
like-
it's so iconic they use it for Modelo commercials.
Yeah, I know. I feel like isn't that like so I don't know what the story is like based off of. I'm sure like it's like has at least some like roots in something just from how the story is told, but like I was going to say is it supposed to be like El Dorado with like the gold they're trying to find? Like that's what I was like thinking they were trying to do with the story.
Yeah, I'm not
Cuz
sure.
like
Pretty
especially
basic story.
when especially when they find it like and then the gold obviously being their goal, but then when they find the fucking graveyard and the epic music, but it's really just a cemetery that they're at.
That
Is it a
scene,
war
like-
cemetery or just like a
I think it's a war
Yeah.
cemetery. I would guess.
Yeah.
Sam, you mentioned earlier like the other one wasn't your favorite scene. What is your favorite scene?
Oh, the ending for sure. The
Okay.
the shootout. I mean, honestly, dude, the last 20 minutes of this movie, like right when they play the Ecstasy of Gold, when he's running around, there's all the quick pans and like you see like the entire cemetery, but it's like
lots of snap
it's
zooms?
exactly yeah. The cinematography perfectly captures the like feeling that Tuco is having there because he's like rushing really quick, trying to scan as much info as possible because he knows Blondie's behind him. He,
Yeah.
like has to find it like quick now. There's so much going on. He's gonna be rich. Like it's perfect. Like it literally is like so good.
The end and the
But then,
beginning
yeah.
are the best parts.
I was
for
gonna say
sure.
I think the beginning's my favorite
Yeah.
personally. It gets you get a good sense of like, 'cause it like I guess like the ending and the beginning both distill the sort of morality of this movie, where it's like everybody's just kind of in it for their own, and you know, like you can do a good thing, even like in the pursuit of something selfish. You can still do right by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Blondie
and
definitely
there's,
does.
like-
Blondie definitely does the most good things throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like he comforts the dying guy. That was pretty cool of him. That's where he gets
Yeah.
the cool what's it called? The cool the thing he
Poncho?
wears at the
The
end, the cool
parka?
poncho, yeah. Or the parka, whatever.
I have no
Poncho.
idea.
dude, yeah.
It's a P.
Be a poncho.
Yeah, the poncho is
'Cause,
sick.
Blondie at least seems like he has some type of code of respect. And then Angel Eyes is just straight up evil, dude. Like if you told me he was the devil, I'd believe you. And
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say.
That's the
earlier.
kind of
He's
well, that's what he's meant to
cold-blooded.
be. Oh, they also call him the
Sweet.
Man in Black, don't they? In this, like that's what they call him the Man in Black, and that's one thing that's really cool about his entrance. Is when he's standing in the doorway and all you can see is like his black silhouette in the doorway. That's hard.
yeah.
Because he's a bad guy before he's even done. Like you're like, that's the bad. This is the bad.
Yeah, I've always
Yeah,
liked the
he's kind of bad.
He's kind of bad though.
So
He walks in and
not
just
bad,
has he just has a huge ass throughout the whole movie. Like he's
Sick as
the
fuck.
same character, but his ass is
You
just
can see it from the
huge.
you can see it from the
Yeah.
front, just peeking
he
around at
walks
the door.
in,
He's like
5 minutes
standing in the
later,
door.
his ass walks in.
Yeah, and like because it has all those like really extended scenes, like it's just him walking in and his ass is just taking
With the
forever to
extendo
get in.
booty.
This movie, one of the best things about this movie is how clever it is throughout like the whole thing. Like I was gonna talk about a lot of the times they just like get one over on somebody, and I think the first one that I think is really funny or really good is when Tuco gets Blondie when he sacrifices his three friends, which that's just like such a funny like way to like introduce Tuco's character. Like if you want to know this character, he goes and finds three of his friends. Tells them we'll split the money, and then he just tricks them all to getting shot and getting killed right when they go in the door, so he could sneak up on them.
All Tuco cares about is the money. Like he does not care about anyone.
Yeah.
He's a
or anything
bread
in this
chaser.
Yeah, but I like
He's on
what he
his
says to his
grind.
brother. I like what he says to his brother about that when they're like, he's like, all you can do is bullshit, like you're a criminal, and he's like, well, you either are gonna be a bandit or a priest, and he's like, I'm just not scared to do it, you know, like I'm doing what I have to do.
Why is Tuco the ugly? Do you
Well,
think?
because he's
That's
like he's like the ugly part of society at the time. Like he's just out for himself,
Yeah.
no matter what. Like he has no morals
Yeah.
as long
his
as
only
he is
motivation
safe.
is greed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very.
Compared
he's
to
a
the
slimy
bad
dude,
Angel
dude.
Eyes, who's just like objective evil or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think
Yeah.
that's what's funny about it too is like his name is Angel Eyes, even like implying like he has pretty eyes or something. Like so, he's meant to be like a good-looking character.
A handsome devil.
Yeah, he's a handsome devil, but he's the bad guy. Same with Blondie, who's like supposed to be really good-looking, and he's the hero, and then that's the ugly. And
Speaking of-
obviously, it's also meant to be funny, though. Like that's why
Yeah,
when at the end when he falls, it's like ugly.
Yeah, there is like a literal interpretation.
Yeah.
Speaking
It's
of
meant to be
Angel
both.
Eyes, I was kind of confused. How did he find them at the end in the cemetery? Like, how did he know?
I think he was just following them.
Because they don't.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was tracking him.
He kind of just
Oh,
like
he knew-
appears though.
He knew the cemetery. Remember, he got the cemetery.
Oh, he tortures Tuco. Yeah.
Yeah, and he gives them the name of the cemetery.
Oh,
And he's also
right.
part of the Confederate Army, so he could probably just walk right through that shit.
Yeah, dude, that scene where he tortures Tuco. We were talking a little bit about when he beat up that lady earlier. Dude, him kicking Tuco's ass is like so.
Or he lets that
raw
fat
and,
guy
like,
beat the shit out of him. I do love when
Dude,
Tuco
yeah.
finally gets the fat guy back, though. He's like, when you go down, I'm going to keep you down. And he just fucking yanks
Dude,
him
I
out the
forgot
train.
about that, yeah. That's the thing. For how long this movie is, like every scene is really good. There's just like
Yeah.
stitching the scenes together draws the movie out a ton.
The only the part of the movie that is like my least favorite though, it probably is the Civil War part, and because like there's a lot of good within it. I think like it is just so much longer in comparison to everything else. So like it's just like, especially because it's so close to the end, you know.
Yeah,
It's
you think it's
another one of
over,
those
and then you
things-
got this whole big ass scene.
Yeah,
that's,
well,
like,
it's
not
another one of
ending.
those things where I think they take too long with like them setting up the explosives and shit. Like you just watch them set up explosives for like 10 minutes, and it's like that probably could have been left out.
Especially
Like,
because like I do love like where this fits into everything, where you know like you have our protagonists who are out for their own, you know, like their own end of just getting this money, but then they're in the middle of this like noble conflict that is being fought, you know, for the nation itself, you know. So it's this nice like
well,
juxtaposition.
I think that's also meant to be something interesting just about the movie in general. Is it's supposed to be like a noble conflict, but everyone involved is like, yeah, I don't even want to be here. Like they even said, what does he say? It's like the only different or the only thing. What does he say? The
only
same thing
difference
between
us and them is how drunk we are. Or how
or
much alcohol
no,
we have.
the only same, or I forget what it is. What he says, the
That's
only
what he
difference
said.
or the same thing. I don't trust you. I don't trust that you're right there. I think you said that wrong.
I just watched it like.
Yeah,
That don't mean shit. So did I, and I forgot. I don't trust you. I don't think that's what he said.
Whoever has the most liquor to get the soldiers drunk and send them to be slaughtered. He's the winner. We and the ones over on the other side of the river only have one thing in common. All of us reek of alcohol.
There are a lot of like foils and like juxtapositions and like there's a lot of cool stuff like that because it is like a, you know, I kind of open with it being an anti-western, but there are a lot of like the very opening shot is like this wide shot and then this big ugly dude who's not even relevant to the story. Like he literally
He
is dead
dies
in 30
immediately.
seconds. He's the first guy and he's right up against the screen, like right at you. and like the hero doesn't even get introduced. Like it's I don't know. There's a lot of scenes like that.
That's why the movie's 3 hours. There's so many scenes that are just like pressed up against someone's face for like 15 seconds, and you're just like watching them as they like ponder what's happening around them. Like I don't
They're
know.
just thinking.
I feel like that's my only real complaint with the movie though is the length, which we talked about. But other than that,
it's weird because this is the only one like available on streaming, and it's like the director's cut or the whatever.
Yeah.
Like I
did not
don't
need to
know.
be this long.
I wish I could find the original and see what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I don't know the difference. I guess like we could have looked it up, but I wonder how much they did cut out and where. Because I mean, like, there's definitely a lot of just like shots of them walking that could be cut down at least. But I'm sure there's like full scenes that are cut out.
From what I read, that's the main part that does get cut out, though. It's just like the walking and unnecessary, scenes like when they're eating.
One scene that's really weird is when he goes and picks up his brothers. Like, I think his brothers. I don't think there's actually brothers. And he just shows up at those random ruins, and he's just like screaming that quote, but it sounds like he's not saying it. Yeah, it's like ruins. Like it looks like ancient ruins. Like he's summoning a god or something. He has a sacrifice and shit. What does he say? Why do you work for something? Oh, dude, I can't remember none of the quotes right now.
Why do you something about working so hard for life to suck?
You work to live, so why do you work yourself to death?
That is something like
that.
Yeah,
something like that. And he just screams it for no reason when he's walking in, and then he's like, "Yeah, it looks like he's summoning them." It was a bar. That was the best part. But that scene is so weird. It feels like it was not in there originally. At least him like screaming that walking in. Like maybe it just cut to him like picking them up at the like sitting there plucking the chicken. But I don't know. Once again, I'm just theorizing on what was cut.
It's like a minor scene, but I thought it was it's really funny when that guy from the very first scene that like Tuco kills those guys
comes back when he's in the bathtub.
Yeah, and he's like monologuing, and Tuco just shoots him. He's like, "When it's time to talk, or when it's time to shoot, shoot, don't talk."
Yeah, I like that he just has his gun in the tub.
When you have to shoot, shoot, don't talk.
Also,
rubber ducky.
I feel like there's no way that gun would have fired in that water back then. Like I feel like that would have been it for that gun.
No, not the older guns. No,
that old. Yeah, I don't think so.
They did seal them with wax, but even then, I don't know. It's questionable.
Especially, especially a revolver. I wouldn't think would do great with that with the water on it.
It's black powder, but like. I don't know. You'd have to talk to Samuel Colt. I don't know.
If it was,
I'll give him a call.
Yeah, I'll hit his telegraph.
I'll wait till Saturday when we hit the links and we're golfing.
I like that they're all competent, like really good shots too. Like Tuco is not incompetent with a gun. That's what I wanted to get to. Tuco's talking about shooting the guy. Yeah. Like he's actually a competent gunman. He fucks people up in this movie. He might. Well, that's the thing. Like. One of the I feel like one of the questions you're supposed to have is like who's the best shot, like who's the best one out of them. But because Tuco never gets to shoot, you're just like, well, we know that at least Blondie's better than Angel Eyes, because I'm pretty sure they both pulled on Angel Eyes, didn't they?
He didn't have a bullet though, right?
Blondie.
Tuco's bullets were taken.
Tuco didn't have any bullets because he didn't check his gun. But
well, Clint Eastwood took him out.
Yeah, but you'd think he would have checked his gun at some point, but he never did.
You're going to a duel.
Yeah, like especially when the duel started, he would have went like and made sure he had bullets.
He only is like perceived as like dumb like when you compare him to the other two, because he really fucks everybody else up in this movie.
Dude, he gets everybody. Well, he is like kind of dumb. Like he does stuff that like when he tells Angel Eyes what the where the graveyard is, like he said, like I would still kill him anyway. Like he was stupid for him to tell him that.
What made him tell him at the Civil War scene, right?
Because he was beating the shit out of him. Yeah, or they had the fat guy beating the shit out of him.
No, I mean, when did Tuco tell Blondie?
Blondie? Oh yeah, when they were blowing up the bridge, and then Blondie lied to him because he knows not to trust Tuco. Yeah. And then as soon as they get across, Tuco tries to go get it on his own. That's when he shoots the cannon at him and fucks him up. That's literally right before he finds it.
When they're putting the dynamite on the bridge, they're like, "This is such a shitty plan. Like one of us is probably gonna die. We might as well tell each other the treasure."
Also, isn't it interesting? So the whole thing that Blondie tells them to like get them to do to shoot out is that he's gonna put the name on the rock, and then at the end he's like, yeah, there's no name on here. Like, I wonder because like that's so smart because like then even if he died, like no one was getting it because they would not have figured that out. They would have thought he just
Yeah,
I
scammed
feel
them.
like Angel Eyes would have figured it out. I think Tuco.
I think he would have just thought he scammed him.
Angel Eyes was
he
like
just told him he wrote
omnipotent.
it
Like
on
he
there.
knew everything, no matter what the situation was. Like he was getting it.
I feel like they only knew what the characters found out though. I think that's one of the most interesting things in the movie is like they actually like because information is like one of the most important parts in this movie. Like that's why they all withhold it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Angel Eyes. That's why I said I think it was interesting because I don't think Angel Eyes would have figured that out. He would have probably assumed that Blondie just fucked him, and outsmarted him and fucked him over and didn't actually give him the name. So now no one gets it.
Also, what was he pretending to write with?
I don't know.
Like his finger.
One thing.
He had a pencil.
Oh, did he? I was about to say that's one thing I
he
didn't get.
had
Like,
it.
who the fuck thought he wrote anything on there? Like, yeah, I'm just gonna carve it with my finger.
It is interesting. The whole movie is kind of like a Mexican standoff, where each person has one piece that they can't do anything else with.
And they're hiding it from the
I
other.
didn't,
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
that's one thing I like about this movie is it's more than just like who kills who. Like they gotta like strategize and think about. They gotta worry about the information they have to get there and how they're gonna get there.
Yeah.
And that's one way Tuco fucks himself over because he betrays everyone. Like no one wants to help him half the time. So everyone knows just not to trust him. That is like slightly smart.
The movie is like legitimately funny too. Like there are some moments that make like when they're wearing the Confederate uniforms and they see the soldiers, they're like, "Oh, they're wearing gray. Don't worry,
No,
it's act natural." And it's them all dusty. And they walk up and the guy pats it off and they're like, "Shit."
And then Clint Eastwood just goes, like, "You dumb motherfucker!" Like you just fucked us both. That actually is a cool scene when they have the shootout in that like destroyed town, when against like Angel Eyes men, even though they just shit on Angel Eyes men. Like somehow they just know people are behind them and stuff. They just got like the sixth sense.
What does he call him on the paper? He calls him like an idiot, and he's like, "Oh, this is for you."
Yeah, no, he can't read it. No, remember he's like, "See you later." He's like, "Idiots, it's for you." What the fuck? Oh, you know what's that's another thing about how badass Tuco is because remember he's like, "Oh, we're gonna work together. I'll go kill Angel Eyes for us then." Like that, he was not scared of Angel Eyes at all if it came to a shootout. But then he's like, "There's 6 other men," and he's like, "I'll just kill all them too." Like he was really going to go fight him on his own. I wonder how they did the train scene for this one. Like, did they really have the guy lay there next to a train as it rode over like a dummy, or did they just throw a guy's body under there? Just really threw that fat dude under there.
Dude, I feel like they were reckless back then. They were just like made.
That's why I said I wonder if he really laid there next to a train while it ran over that chain.
Yeah, old movies like they used to just throw caution to the wind. Like you were like, you were risking your life to make a movie.
Hey, I mean, you want to get the shot, right?
True, yeah. I mean, like the same thing happened. I guess like
we watched Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, they did a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about that enough in Indiana Jones, just how crazy the shit they were doing. I think we did talk about the car, and that was like it.
We didn't even talk about how Tuco and Blondie like even met. Is that literally Tuco will get captured, get turned in for the money, and then Clint Eastwood will set him free and then take him to the next town, turn him in, get them a reward.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, they're just running scams for some money. But the thing is, they're making a decent amount of money. That like, if all they wanted was 10,000, because that's what they were gonna get in the end. Each was 10,000. Like that's only 5 scams.
Oh, they were getting 100,000.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 200,000.
I thought it was 20,000, 10,000 each.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure it's 200,000.
Because I remember
him.
No, for the
gold.
In the
Oh,
grave.
yeah, it was 200,000. Yeah.
Oh, was it 200,000? I don't know why I thought it was 20,000. That's definitely more.
200K.
Oh yeah, my bad. I was wrong on that one. I was gonna say that's not a lot of heists that it would have took for them to catch up to that.
I was gonna say they went through an awful lot for for something they could have just.
Well, I was gonna say it's also like way back then. That's like millions of dollars.
When was this? 1860s or
1860s.
1860.
200,000 in 1860 is equivalent in purchasing power to 7,416,600.
That's crazy.
I think it's worth it.
7 million.
It's worth it.
I'd say so.
Well, I mean,
journey
I would definitely say
for
it's
the
worth
rest of
it,
your
'cause
life.
they didn't do anything that bad. Once, honestly, after they stopped fucking each other up, Blondie and Tuco did all right.
Yeah, dude, if Angel Eyes could be trusted to not just shoot everybody, like they could have split that 3 ways and have been fine.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, well, you knew he would have killed Tuco. I was gonna say you don't know if he would have killed Blondie, but I assume he would have just killed him
I
after.
think you would have. They'd at least had a shootout.
Yeah, cause like he told him he was gonna split it, but obviously I don't think he was gonna do that. I think he was just telling him that.
Dude, I do like. I will say this. It literally has one of like the most famous lines of all time when he's like,
You see, in this world, there's 2 kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns, and those who dig. You dig.
That's when they get the gold, cause that's after he killed Angel Eyes, and he's like, "You fucking rat bastard! You could have killed me."
"When you unload it," he says it really weird.
I think that I do still think the fact that he pulled on Angel Eyes, like when they were gonna at the shootout, even though he didn't have any bullets, I still think that's the only reason Blondie let him live, was because he didn't try to shoot him at that part. Yeah, like he was like, well, he wasn't gonna kill me, so I might as well save his life. I don't want to kill him then. If he would have tried to shoot him, he might have just let him die. And he's also fucked up because remember when Tuco finally catches Blondie, he just makes him leave his partner hanging.
Yeah, it was sad.
He just leaves him to die, and he's like, Blondie!
He does say sorry to that one dude, right? He goes, I can't remember what his name is, but
Was it Shorty or
Shorty, yeah, it was like Shorty or
Shorty,
something like
yeah.
that. I knew it was an S. I knew that much.
Man,
well, Shorty was a criminal, so I mean, it's not
that's
like he was an
crazy.
innocent guy that
Blondie,
they pretended.
Blondie only has one hustle. Like he's not that creative.
Well, he's just a good shot. Like that's all he's
Well, he
actually
needed
good
the
at.
200K.
I like that they like have no other prospects besides just being really good at shooting, and they just walk around making money off that.
What else was there to do in 1860 other than to be good at shooting and walk around trying to swindle people
It
for
was
money?
that or go into the fucking Civil War, dude. What?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
really.
Those are you two
What are you
Dude, I
thinking?
want to know. I want to know what the fuck Tuco was up to, dude, because his crime list was
Yeah,
crazy.
his crime list was insane. He had like statutory like rape.
Yeah,
and,
he
like,
had rape and statutory rape. They could have probably left those two out. They didn't.
It doesn't differentiate.
It's a very long list of just petty crimes, like
And then
like
rape.
loitering.
Yeah, and then just rape up in there.
Yeah, like,
They just threw that one in. They were like, that'll be funny.
Yeah, loitering, petty theft, jaywalking, like a bunch of unpaid parking tickets, and then like
Yeah.
8 counts of rape.
Yeah, Tuco is actually a piece of shit. It turns. That one line recontextualizes his whole character. It
he
takes
was
away
just-
all of your sympathy.
he just downloaded a bunch of songs off of LimeWire and they
Yeah.
just planted the charges
Yeah.
on him.
How much is a $4,000 bounty today, though? I wonder that. Probably a couple $100,000.
Nick, pull it up.
yeah. Nick's our real-time fact checker.
Because I feel like
Nick's doing it in his head.
It's gonna end up being like 14 million because it's about double the money of the last one. 400,000.
No, just
4,000.
So just
Oh,
4,000.
4,000.
So if it's double 14, so it'd be what, like 140,000?
It's just did random math in his head. I have no clue.
Like you carry the 7, you know.
Yeah.
He's right, though. He's a machine.
41,593.
Yeah, you just did a couple of that. They could have invested.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's-
back then
that's
in
real
the
nice.
What
fucking
you invested in back then? Fucking horses?
in land, and then you're fucking rich. That's exactly what you do. Like
think-
all you
Yeah.
needed was that money.
I think today.
They're sticking around to take care of that land and sell it though.
That's what they're
Just
gonna do
buy
anyway.
like an entire state.
That's what
and
they're gonna.
sell
That's
it
what they're
later.
gonna do with the 200,000 they got. They're just gonna have to buy land and do it anyway.
They're roamers. They're not
I'm just
sticking
saying.
around in one place.
I'm saying it worked out for them, but it was basically the same plan, just quicker that happened.
I think bounty hunting would be a lucrative pursuit today. Don't you think?
Depends where you're
Find
bounty
some
hunting.
bounties, dude.
Yeah,
Well,
what country are you in?
a good old U.S. of A.
It would
Just
be
look at,
really.
like,
It's a really
bounty.com
hard. It's
or
a really
something and
hard
find it.
market to get into. Like how you.
Well, what
How do you? How
I
do you?
feel like there's a website. There's a
Needs
website.
some
What?
research.
what kind of crimes do they list bounties
How
on?
do you network? How do you network as a bounty hunter?
Craigslist, I guess.
Twitter. What do you
Who's that
mean?
guy
How do
on
you know?
YouTube?
Twitter.
The local
Who's
bar.
that guy on YouTube who would show
Yeah.
up to people's houses dressed up in football pads and just run them over?
What the
You
fuck?
you guys know
I
what I'm
don't know.
talking about?
Is that bounty hunting?
He would, like,
It was dog.
somebody who is this dude who would like, he had like social media or whatever. It was just old school YouTube.
I know what
where,
he's
like, someone
talking
would be
about.
like,
I don't know who it was.
Is
"This
he the
guy,
one
like,
with the bounty
cheated
on him?"
on my sister or something. So this huge guy would show up to the guy's house and they'd knock on his door and get him to come out, and this guy would just blindside him and crush him, dude. We could just do that.
That's why they had that commercial
I'll
back in the
find
day
it.
where someone would just show up to the office and fucking tackle them. It was from that like YouTube skit.
Excellent. Well, you've got a nice co-star here.
Yes.
Wow! That's how Terry Tate makes America great, baby! You can't go around grabbing people willy-nilly, son!
Send jars of
Yeah.
farts to people.
Okay, I don't know what that had to do with what we were talking about.
Yeah, Nick, we'll do that too.
Yeah, we can do that too.
Nick's been thinking about that for a while. He just wanted to get it out.
And then if you look in like the right corner, you just see a jar, like an empty jar.
Yeah.
It's like, what have you been
I'm just,
doing,
like,
Nick?
pushing it out of the screen.
Not
Pushing it out of her. He was actually gonna show us it, but he heard our reaction and he put it back real quick.
Film friend farts for sale soon.
The
check
film
our-
pin part.
Check our merch
Good story.
website. You know,
Yeah.
the film farts might
That's where the
drop.
farts
You
are.
never know when.
The film
the
parts.
film
The film
parts.
fart jar.
This came out at a time when like westerns were like the biggest movies. Like they were constantly being made. They were constantly pumping them out. And I just wanted to know if you guys like are sad that westerns aren't as big anymore. Like when's the last time you saw a big blockbuster western, and do you wish you could see more of those like being made now?
I
No.
wouldn't mind them, but they're just kind of trend movies, so they'll probably come like those style of movies. Well, actually, you know what's something to talk about is like so. I mean, even most westerns are just kind of copies of most samurai movies that existed back in the day.
vice
So,
versa a lot of the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
so
Yeah, I'd be cool with this style of western. I wouldn't want like the Hollywood western.
the
type
old
shit.
Hollywood.
It's like a
Westerns,
modern
yeah.
western, like Star Wars.
There's the Hateful Eight.
Season 1 of The Mandalorian, I would honestly say
Cowboys,
is
Cowboys versus Aliens.
Yeah.
Hateful Eight was 2015. That's pretty
Dude,
recent.
Hateful Eight's pretty
fucking
good.
what's it called? It's technically like a western. John, you always talk about it. Oh, it's gonna make me mad. I can't think of what it's
No
called.
Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men. Yeah, dude, that's a
That-
western.
that is
Yeah.
the anti-western, dude.
Yeah,
one
dude,
is
that
the-
movie.
one-
That's a modern western.
The one that's kind of looming, I guess, is have you guys ever heard of the book Blood Meridian?
No.
It
I haven't. What is that?
It's written by the guy that wrote No Country for Old Men, and it's like from all that I know is like it is kind of like the ultimate like deconstruction of like the Western genre because it's like
What's it called again?
Blood
Blood
Meridian
Meridian. I've heard that name before.
because it's like
Surprised it's
very
not a movie.
well. The thing about it is like most people say it's kind of almost like impossible to adapt because of not only like pretty intense violence, like very very intense, but also like kind of the morality, like the way that it like touches on morality kind of only really works in book form, so it would be very hard to adapt into like
Interesting.
into a film.
Oh, no,
But
if you
I know a
want
lot of people are like people want that as a movie or a show. So I guess there is still definitely a demand for the Western, I
Yeah.
would say.
Oh, I mean, there's Killers of the Flower Moon coming
Yeah,
out. Like,
true, yeah.
Is that this week or next week?
I guess that's not
think.
as much of a Western though. I guess.
By modern day standards,
Yeah.
I'd still say it's a Western though.
Yeah, I mean, shit, like I said, the Mandalorian was kind of like that. Like it had certain Western vibes to it. Like I
Yeah,
think that people would enjoy it.
The Western vibe is like because the anime Cowboy Bebop is set in the future,
Western.
but that's also kind
Yeah.
of a Western in a lot of ways. So
Do you
Yeah,
think
well,
Westerns
Western
are
is a
popularized?
genre more than
an idea.
Do you
And
think they popularized like the anti-hero? Because I feel like anti-hero is such a Western thing. Like I'm not sure.
I feel like that's a
when
spaghetti Western
anti-heroes
thing,
began
right?
I feel
Like, it's
like
specific to spaghetti
anti-heroes
Western.
came like because of the big westerns of like
I think
Yeah, like
anti-heroes have
did that
always
make them
existed.
mainstream?
yeah.
Right,
I
but,
say
like,
no,
in
and I put my
mainstream
foot down.
movies.
In that regard, what also
I
came
don't know about
first, the samurai or the Western movies?
I think
Samurai
samurai.
movies, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
So they might have, you know,
Yeah.
been one of the first for the
Yeah, were there
anti-hero.
a lot of were there a lot of anti-heroes and those?
Their
I'm just trying to
characters are
think,
like
'cause-
exact same archetypes in between.
Yeah, I
the
mean it's
Western
kind of hard to
samurai.
explain, like, 'cause
And
it
then,
kind of
like-
depends on the
'cause,
story.
like,
I don't know what started it.
Like Rashomon has a lot to do with like morality and like, you know, like relative, because like that's several different accounts of the same story, you know, from like a samurai, from a criminal, and from the person who got like victimized. So I would say probably.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm enough of an expert, to be honest, with these really
I don't know. I feel
old
like
movies.
anti-heroes have like always
I'm trying to-
existed, like old literature.
trying to
I don't know
think
about
of
like
a
war movies, but
Yeah.
time.
True.
Yeah, but I feel like
I
I feel like he
agree.
also was talking about popularizing it. That's what he was saying. Like,
An
Yeah,
early
like, is there, like, a
anti-hero
real
is Homer's
famous movie-
Thersites, all the way back in Homer. Wow.
what name did you
movies,
say?
but-
Homer, like from Odysseus,
No,
Odysseus.
what character? I heard you said something else.
His name is Thersites.
Thirsty, thirsty. That was a
Yeah,
show.
it
I don't
literally
remember
looks like
that at
thirsty,
all.
but with an I.
I don't know. What? Well, thirsty has an eye in it.
Because like
Thirsty has an eye in it,
extra
so-
eye, an extra eye.
I guess that's a good question. Because
what
like
early Hollywood movies.
oh
Go ahead,
god,
John.
I was because like the concept of like a character who was
it's a lot of
previously
Shakespeare. with
bad.
anti-heroes.
Like the character who was bad but then redeems himself to become good, like that's existed for like ever.
Well, that's not necessarily what
I know,
anti-hero
I
means.
know,
Yeah.
I know.
Sasuke
I'm trying to say.
Uchiha was the first one.
He's a Deuteragam, whatever it's called, Deuteragamist, whatever, Deuteronomist. What is it called?
The Book of Deuteronomy.
The Book of Deuteronomy. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's
I
just
guess
that
I guess
dude.
we'd
He's
have to
just
define
that dude.
Like the
anti-hero.
Lancer
Jay
character. So like,
Gatsby is
so like
one.
the Lancer character. So like, all right, an anti-hero is like a hero that doesn't morally like. It's why it's a super bland and doesn't really matter topic, because a hero is like someone. An anti-hero is someone who's in the hero seat but does things a hero isn't
like a
typically
normal
supposed to do.
person
You
with
know what I mean?
flaws. Yeah.
Like-
he does bad things for good reasons, essentially.
Yeah.
That would be a
that's the way
very
to put it.
boiled down way to.
I
do
know
it.
like a
Like, the
word that
Punisher
like
is super-
is hard to explain, but like I know a lot of people like use the term like anti-villain now, and that's like similar, but obviously still not really definable. Like I feel like an anti-villain would be like Thanos, I guess, because like he's trying to do something good, but he's doing something really fucked up.
Yeah, he's doing
But he's the moral
exactly
villain of the
perfect,
story.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's just an interesting thought.
Yeah, I don't think I'm an expert enough on that one topic to like give a good answer on
I just
it.
feel like
I was just trying to
anti-heroes have
think of,
always
like movies from
existed.
the 40s.
Well, yeah, anti-heroes have
Yeah,
definitely
but
always
I'm talking
existed.
about like in Hollywood, like specifically in
I
movies.
get that,
like,
but-
did this popularize it?
Well, see, I feel like anti-heroes come out of like just counterculture. You know what I mean? Like this is what's considered good, and then they're like, yeah, but not everything is always good all the time. Like, you know, that's what the story. That's what's always gonna happen. They have to show. You have to show the flaws to things. It makes it more realistic or more relatable because not like in real life, not everything works out, or sometimes you have to do things you don't want, or sometimes you make mistakes. Like that's just how. That's more. Not everyone's perfect.
Yeah.
It makes a more realistic character. Like if you just see like a perfect character, like you're gonna be like, he's a fucking asshole. Like fuck, he has. That's why I feel like most people have such like a negative reaction to like a Mary Sue character. Like I feel like that's why people are so
I think it
against
feels like it's a story.
like
more
Superman. Like I feel
more
like
than this.
that's one of the like the Superman things where it's like because he's so perfect, a lot of people just naturally turn away from him. But I feel like when Superman is done best and most interesting is when his problems are more moral than his physical. In like I'm trying to think of the word for it, capabilities. You know, like because nothing's outside of his physical scope. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. He's Superman. But so you have to. That's the challenge. Is you have to create moral challenges for that character, and that's when he's done best. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you could honestly probably say Batman is an anti-hero because.
Well, yeah, no, he's technically an anti. He falls technically under anti-hero, but like the once again with the wide scope thing, like he never does anything that bad.
Yeah.
Like he's not killing people and shit.
He paralyzes petty thugs all the time.
Whoa.
He paralyzes drug addicts by like a dime bag, bro.
If it was real, he would be paralyzing him. But this is comic book world. He just hurts them for a day.
Batman
knocks
catches you
them out.
stealing a pack of gum, and he just like
He just
breaks your neck in
paralyzes you.
half.
I'm gonna kill your whole family.
He just knocks. I mean, not even like like just knocks your teeth out, breaks an arm. It's like, oh.
I don't know. Like,
All right, we're off topic enough that I'm reining it in. Get the ratings.
Well, this wasn't off
I will
topic.
go
We were
first.
talking about anti-heroes.
Sam killing all the fun.
I will say I'm gonna give this movie a 9 out of 10. I freaking love this movie. It's probably the best Western ever made. Although I haven't seen a shitload of Westerns, but yeah, 9 out of 10 is my absolute rating.
I would agree that this is definitely a 9 out of 10 movie. Like, I mean, honestly, it's close to a 10 out of 10. Like, it's that good. But I'm not like I like not country Western movies, but they're not like my favorite thing in the world. Like when they're done right, obviously, like this, they're amazing. But I mean, the soundtrack is perfect. The characters are perfect. And I feel bad if it's like most of my problems with it are just because it's so old now. Like the voices being hard to like listen to, like not listen to, but like you could clearly tell they're not matched up. Fucks with you a lot, and then a lot of scenes dragging out for forever.
Yeah.
But those are just like minor complaints. Like this movie's definitely fucking amazing.
Pacing in the ADR hurt it a lot, I will say.
Yeah, it makes it a hard watch, which not a hard watch, but two.
That's what takes away from it. Those are the two things.
Yeah.
Like, everything else is done really well.
Yeah.
It's just too time consuming. Like it's not a movie you could just sit down and throw on whenever. Like you want to finish this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's a really like straightforward story, and I think it's carried by some like really good, really suspenseful scenes and like great characters. If it was a little like shorter, I probably would be like 9.
I feel like this movie would be
But-
like a perfect 2.5 hours.
Yeah, or 220. 220 is like a good length for like this kind of movie, I feel.
Give me a flat 2.
Yeah, it's an 8 out of 10 for me.
Because it's too long.
I'm gonna say the same thing. It's an 8 for me. I think it would probably be higher if there was any version other than the extended version available to watch. That might bump
It's
it up.
the
for
only
me.
way you can experience it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I echo everything everyone else said. This movie's surprisingly beautiful. Like there's so many beautiful places where it's shot, and the cinematography is amazing. But yeah, it's just so long. So
We probably
it's
didn't
an
mention
8.
that
And eight's
enough,
Still, eight's still really good.
Yeah.
So
I'm
Strongest
sitting at a solid 8.5. This is after having about an hour of the movie left still, though. So maybe my rating will change. We'll see.
That's the best part.
No one would have known.
bump it up.
Yeah, the ending will definitely bump it up.
We sold you on that.
I'll have to echo though the just straight how long this movie is. A little too long for my liking. I hit like the 2-hour point, and I'm like itching to either move or like start watching something else. But
TikTok scrolling stars.
That's
Yeah,
crazy because the
exactly.
movie doesn't even really start till 2 hours in. To be honest, like that's like when they get the Bill Carson. I think an hour and a half in is when they get Bill Carson's like the cemetery. The main characters don't even know about it yet.
I don't know. If
Yeah,
I'm taking
just,
a
like,
western for a
scrapping
western
for
though, I do love a good western, and this movie does that phenomenally, and that's really all I can say.
All right, John, from sunset to high noon.
Oh
Where are you
shit!
gonna rate this movie?
Oh shit, dude! He has 24 hours to pick one. You got to stretch a little bit. You got to stretch a little bit.
It's high noon.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Did he just get us all down?
This goes on a real note up there with Indiana Jones. Classic out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely iconic, legendary movie.
I like how you didn't put Sam on there. Oh, because he did this one. That's
Because
right. I like how you
Are we
put
there? Are we
Oh.
there?
Let's
go. First try. Let's go.
First try.
It was meant to be.
Try.
All right.
Let's try
Next
we didn't
week.
record this and lose the footage.
Next
Chris,
video.
wait,
Pick
Chris,
a different
like-
movie, Chris.
what are you gonna
Pick a different
recommend?
movie.
I would like to watch the 2008 Pixar movie Wall-E for our next podcast. I'm sure it'll make for a great discussion, and the only way you'll know is if you click on the next video.